Hi, everyone. We are back with a very exciting guest who has paid out over $50 million to creators in the past few years alone. This episode is going to be all about everything that has to do with the money on the table when it comes to making an income and making a sustainable business as a creator or a creatorpreneur or person trying to start a startup in the creator economy. So welcome Adam Rivietz, co-founder and chief strategy officer of #Paid.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Of course, I'm so excited to be here. And actually, a fun story for you is that when I graduated in 2020, I was doing a lot of micro influencer work. I definitely was still getting my feet wet with everything, but I got into #Paid and I got one of my first brand deals that then ended up becoming a bigger client over the years. And yeah, that was just a fun little anecdote.
Well, I have to ask you a question then.
Okay.
Which brand was it?
It was a pharma brand, and I was dealing with chronic migraines, so it was Nurtec.
Amazing.
And then they got acquired by Pfizer, and the rest is kind of history. But it actually taught me a lot because when you're working with pharma, it's a completely different ballgame than any other kind of ad partnership. For the most part, they are paying you for commercial real estate on your social platform, and they're just going to boost it because of all the disclosures that have to go into it.
I will note to the audience, that is one of my favorite programs we've ever done. Why? Because Nurtec needed to identify people who actually suffered from migraines, didn't have a medication that they were already taking, or were willing to switch from an existing medication. So how do you do that? It's hard enough to find creators in general, let alone find ones who meet all of these criteria. And that's what we do at #Paid. Because we have hundreds of thousands of creators on one side of our marketplace who have connected their accounts, their bank accounts, their social media accounts, set their rates. They also give us personal information about their lives, like if they're migraine sufferers and what medication they're taking, or if they're moving, having babies, planning a renovation, buying a new car, etc. That's one of our competitive advantages, is having data on creators like you that no one else has.
And I do vividly remember having trouble getting my prescription because at the time it was very new medication. And I remember messaging the team in the portal with pink and white and everything. But also, you guys, this was in, I think, 2020 or 2021. We are now in 2026. What does that tell you about this founder? He cares about details. So everything in this episode will have to do with details. And I want you all to listen very closely to what he's saying so that you guys can level it up. Can you kind of talk to us about that origin story? I mean, I know you've talked about it a lot, so you don't need to get super into it, but tell me.
It's my favorite story to tell.
Tell me.
Our aha moment. So my co-founder is my best friend since we were 2 years old. We've done everything together from kindergarten all the way through to being the best man at his wedding. And we thought of the idea back in 2013, 13 years ago, when a girl that we went to high school with blew up on Instagram. Her name's Ronnie. Her handle's Inspired to Be Fit. And Ronnie was going through a difficult time in her life. She wanted to start a fitness journey and change her life around. And so she committed to that goal and posted on Instagram. Every time she went to the gym, she shot a selfie. Every time she made a healthy meal, she shot a flat lay. 6 months later, had 100,000 followers on Instagram. Brian and I, being from Toronto, Canada, we were like, holy shit, how does this girl from the suburbs amass a global audience of 100,000 people? We look at her feed and we realize these people are not just following her. They're asking her, what sports bra are you wearing? What blender are you using? What protein are you drinking? She would endorse them. Her followers would write back, bought it, loved it, tried it. And that was our moment where we said we need to be at the intersection of these collaborations between social media celebrities, is what we called them, long before influencers, and brands. So we worked with our friend Ronnie that summer. We got her paid. It validated our idea that companies would pay random people on Instagram to promote them. And then we set out to work with more creators. We emailed hundreds of them. They all said, yes, we'd love you to monetize our Instagram. We've never seen anything like this before. But then it became a total show for the two of us to manage. Hundreds of email threads, Dropboxes with content, Excel sheets trying to track it all. That was our second aha moment, where we said it's time to develop software. We need to automate the process of finding the most relevant creator on the internet for a brand, being able to collaborate with them, approve their content, and then track the results of their posts. We built that platform in 2014. 12 years later, we've got hundreds of thousands of creators on one side, a couple hundred of the world's leading brands on the other, and our team and technology sit in the middle and help us execute these collaborations at scale.
Yeah, you guys got to check it out. It is one of the best and, might I argue, free resources for creators to literally monetize and get paid. So you've paid out millions of dollars to creators. I am curious about something surprising that either you or your team has learned about doing that volume of transactions. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of creators, thousands, if not maybe hundreds of thousands of creators, and millions of dollars are on the line here. So I'm just wondering, what is the most surprising thing that's taught you about the way that creators transact with brands?
I would say generally across the industry, what we have seen is creators often, when they work with a large brand or a large agency, they're expected to wait for payment, sometimes 60, 90, 120, 180 days. These are individual entrepreneurs or small businesses who have to pay rent and have to pay mortgages and have life expenses, and brands expect them to wait so long to be paid. That is one of the reasons why at #paid, we've always paid our creators in as little as 15 days, typically up to 45 days, and we try to get everyone paid in 30 days or less.
Yeah.
And that's because we understand people have expenses and they need to get paid for their work. But the funny thing is, even though we pay out creators in 30 days, our clients typically don't pay us for 60, 70, 80, 90 days also. So in the industry, and I don't think this is unique to #paid at all, a lot of companies, at least ones who have the same ethos as us, that want to treat creators well and get them paid on time, I think they probably have these growing cash flow challenges of outflow happening before inflow comes in. At our level of business, we have financial tools to help us mitigate that gap and have cash in the bank to do that, whether it's profit, lines of credit, fundraising, etc. But as an individual creator, I don't believe many of them have that resource. And if you are a full-time creator, we do know that it's hard to unlock credit because it's hard to show predictable income to banks and lenders. So that problem we are solving in the short term with paying creators on time in ideally 30 days. In the long term, we are thinking of financial products to offer to creators to help them get paid maybe as soon as they post rather than even 30 days later.
I'm always curious to know about people that have built sustainable and real businesses. Again, you're doing millions of dollars here. How can somebody embody what you're talking about on an individual level, right? Like, how can a creator start thinking and make that shift to like, oh, I have to run a business. I have to think like a chief strategy officer. And in doing that, I'll be able to generate X amount of money so that I can live whatever kind of lifestyle it is or build whatever it is that they want to do next.
I have 4 answers percolating in my head because
Okay.
while it's a creator-centric experience podcast conversation we're having now, at the end of the day, everyone watching who's a creator is also an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
And while I don't actually often speak in front of large creator audiences, I do speak in front of entrepreneurs at universities, colleges, different companies I've advised, invested in. So I'm going to treat this more as an entrepreneur question.
I love that.
Something that I do every year, that I do with every founder I've ever invested in or that I advise, is recommend that they do something called dreamlining. Tim Ferriss, 4-Hour Workweek, it's one of the most powerful things I ever read probably 15 years ago. And it essentially says most people, they work, they turn 60, 65, 70, they retire, and then they have no idea what to do. And most other people also think that in order to have everything you want in your life, like material things or even a wife and kids, you need to be a billionaire to have everything you want. And so what dreamlining does is enables you to write down all the things you actually want in your life. How many months do you want to travel a year? How many houses, vacation houses, cars, wife, how many kids? Every kid is, $1 million or so in today's day and age. And then the interesting part is once you actually write down all the things you want, you put a dollar figure next to it. And most people's dreamlines I've seen are 5 to 10, maybe $15 million. That's a lot of money, but it's a far cry from $1 billion. And then you say, okay, what methods can I achieve this wealth with? Either I need to build a business and sell it one day and get one check for that $10, $15 million. Or Can I develop a cash flow generating business and only actually need 20% of that $10 million, $2 million bucks, very attainable. And that's your 20% down on your house and your car. The other 80% is debt. And as long as you have a cash flow generating business, whether that is a software tool or a production company or you're a creator generating steady revenue, you can offset that 80% through lines of credit, loans, etc. And again, the whole purpose of this is to just understand and think about what you actually want in your life. What is it going to cost you? And then what is the vehicle that you are going to create to get you there? In this case, and as I work with more creators, and as we see articles of creators selling their collective channels as media businesses for tens of or hundreds of millions of dollars, this becomes real for creators, and not just in the getting brand deals or getting YouTube AdSense. It's the collective nature of running that business, having multiple channels and treating it like a true media business that unlocks, 5 to 8x multiples on your annual revenue and profit, and could enable a creator to one day achieve their dreamline with one single check by selling the media company they've developed. Yeah. So step one, understand what you want in your life, understand the dollar amount that is going to cost, and then you can think about the vehicle that you're going to get there. So for example, to simplify, let's say your dreamline is going to be $15 million. Let's say you are running a YouTube network of a few channels, or you have an Instagram, a TikTok, a YouTube, you have a personality, you have a podcast, you have all these things going for you as a true media business, not just one account. And what we're seeing is these businesses are getting 4, 5, 6x multiples. So let's just say a 5x for simple math. Okay, you need to exit to make $15 million. If you are the solo owner, haven't raised money, all you need to be doing is $3 million a year in revenue across all of your accounts, AdSense, product placement, merch sales, speaking gigs, you name it. You get $3 million in revenue. Now you actually have a $15 million business that you can sell and get that check to live your dream.
Every single person, whether you're a creator or an entrepreneur, needs to rewind 15 minutes and listen to this from start to wherever we are in the episode right now, because it is so hard as somebody who speaks to creators all the time, more one-on-one, at least where I'm at now, they want to know the guidebook. And there's no easy way to say, oh, tell me what your end goal is here, right? Let's work backwards. It's easy to say, it's hard to do. So in terms of creators and how they're building businesses today, what do you think the future is as it relates to just brand deals versus any other form of revenue that they might make?
I mean, I think the brand deal space is only growing. We're seeing that in our annual revenue and our top customers spending more, and just the entire creator economy and creator marketing industry growing tremendously year over year. So I don't think brand deals are going away. I think they're only going to get bigger and better. I think slowly over many years of education, the top 20% and maybe more now are understanding that it's not about one-off transactional relationships with creators. It's about long-term partnerships. And back to being an entrepreneur, not just a creator, you have to think creators are these artists. They are talented in their niche, and I've met now thousands of them who love what they do from a creative standpoint. Then I ask them about the business side, and they don't know, not by fault, but they don't know about expenses and how to deal with taxes as a creator or a small business and how to write things off. They don't know about multiples and what sort of revenue opportunities they need to get that final revenue goal and then get the multiple you need to have that exit. I think creator and brand partnerships are always evolving. They're going to go from more transactional to long-term relationships. I think it's a creator's job, as much as they might work with agencies, talent, management shops, it's still their job to A, submit everything on time, be a professional, and then give as much data as you can, whether it's personal information that can help them choose you for their next product or performance data around your posts, to build that trust with them and show them that you are a valuable investment. At the end of the day, the number one piece of advice regarding brand deals is creators need to start thinking like marketers, because that's who's hiring them. And if you understand why they're hiring the creator, what their goal is, what they're measured against, how that particular person is individually bonused at that company, you can do a hell of a lot better job as a creator because you have so much more information. You know exactly what they're expecting and you can deliver it. And then if you're really smart, you can over deliver, especially on the first or second or third campaign with a client, so that they see not only do you do everything on time, not only does your content perform, you deliver above and beyond, and you're a great person to work with. So why wouldn't they want a long-term partnership? And that unlocks stable revenue for creators, and that's what everybody wants.
So you also mentioned a couple of things in your answer about what not to do. I want to know what are these specific things? Like, you guys have some of the top brands that are being casting for creators left and right. I get the emails every day pretty much on the job board. I saw this really cool one for like Hershey in next week, I think. I can't believe that's so soon. And I did apply. But what are the things that creators mess up on the most that they need to change?
First and foremost, stop ghosting marketers and agencies. Even if you don't want to work with them, even if you hate the brand, even if you said yes and then you decided later no, communication in every aspect of life, whether it is with your parents, siblings, partner, business, colleagues, employees, other creators, potential hires, every single person in your life, you can't over communicate. The more clear you are, the more you communicate, the better. So if you have a change of heart, just tell the brand, I'm sorry, this isn't for me right now. The worst thing anyone can have in life is a maybe. As a sales professional who started as our first salesperson, managed our sales team, and now works tangentially with our sellers, the most important thing, again, is communication. But as sellers, you never want a maybe. It's your job to get a prospect, a lead, to a yes or no as fast as possible. Because no's are going to come. You're going to get more of them than yeses. And the faster you can get to a no, the faster you'll get to the next yes. And nobody likes sitting, waiting, wondering, am I getting this deal? Am I not? Is this person showing up? Are they not? Are they going to deliver the content? Just be open and be honest and tell people how you actually feel and over communicate. I'm not interested. I got this done early. I didn't get this done early. I'm running late. My kid's sick. Like, we're all humans. That's the unique and sometimes challenging part of the creator industry. It's not just pixels, a banner ad on a screen. But humans understand that. And again, the more you over communicate, the better.
Okay.
So don't ghost anyone, because you never know.
ghost.
They might bring you a deal that you don't like today, but tomorrow they might have another deal. And if you ghost them, they're probably not going to bring it to you, because in this industry, there are never enough hours in the day to find enough creators and to do the things we do. So speed is of the essence. Respond.
So you also mentioned your career in sales. I'm very curious to know how creators should be selling themselves better.
Yeah, shockingly enough, I find creators, it's a small sample size, but I find a lot of them don't even think about selling themselves or how they could go about doing that. So they either build their following, because that's what you love doing. You create content, you build a following, and then you start getting inbound deals. And you're like, oh, this is great. Free money's coming my way. Oftentimes, though, those brands might not be the perfect fit, but you're like, ooh, money, let's take that deal. And I would say, A, don't just take a deal for a short-term paycheck. Obviously, if you have a credit card bill due tomorrow, maybe make an exception. But
And
generally,
early on in your career.
yeah, and early on, that's just an example that you can put in your portfolio.
Yeah.
But generally, what we say is the difference between an influencer and a creator today is that influencers will buy fake followers, they'll buy fake engagements, they'll manipulate their numbers, they'll work with a brand they don't really care about just to get paid, then delete the post from their account after the contract expires. Whereas creators, we find, typically turn down more deals than they accept because they only want to partner with brands that their audience will believe that they care about and that they ideally do care about and use regularly. And then you layer in the fact that when you're picking brands that you care about, you're not going to delete the post. You're going to keep it up forever. It's going to add incremental value to that brand over time. And it becomes a portfolio piece that you can show off of, look at the performance I drove for that brand. So in the beginning, maybe you could take some deals that are slightly outside your niche, or maybe not be a brand you typically use or work with, and you want to try something new. However, be selective about brands. That's number one. Number two, there's tons of outbound tactics. So there's inbound, people sliding in your DM, sending you emails saying, hey, we want to work with you. Then there's outbound. We've got 15, 20 salespeople who are doing outbound all day long. What does that mean? That means going on Instagram and finding the company and sliding in their DM and actually writing them, not just I want to work with you, here's my rates, why you love that brand. I actually recommend to creators all the time, throw open an Excel sheet or a note on your phone, look at yourself from head to toe at any moment throughout the day, maybe later in the day, because you'll have gone through more products and outfits and things. But literally, what gel do you use in your hair? What face products are you putting on? What do you brush your teeth with? What clothes are you wearing? What jewelry are you wearing? What pants? What underwear? What shoes? Those are all brands that you chose to wear or consume. What did you eat today? All of these things, write them down. What car do you drive? What phone do you have? What cell phone company are you with? Who's your internet provider, etc. All of these things are decisions you made without influence from a brand or getting paid. So if you actually go to that brand and say, I've been an AT&T customer for 25 years, I'd never switch to anyone else, that is an authentic story that they care about. Truth wins over everything else, especially in the AI age. Human to human connection, real storytelling, authenticity is why this industry is growing. So you need to not only DM them on Instagram or send them an email or send them a LinkedIn, you need to tell them a personal story as to why you are the perfect fit to promote their new product or a product you've been using for years and how you're going to bring that messaging to life. Yeah. And then they will have all the information they need and know that you're the right person.
So is it valuable for a creator that you guys are casting? And again, like I don't know how closely you're working in casting anymore, but when your team is casting, is it super valuable for a creator to have a website, to have a pop-in LinkedIn page, to like have all of those professional assets in one place versus I know you guys have your portal. That's really where you get to opt in and send the brand your curated message and chat with the actual account managers. How important is having those external resources while they're doing that?
They're both equally important. So first and foremost, yes, you're going to get inbound. Then yes, you should be doing strategic outbound to your top 50 or 100 brands that you love in your life and sending them personalized messages. And then number 3, you should sign up for #paid, obviously. But go sign up for all of our competitors. If I can't make you a living this year or next year, then you still should go seize that opportunity and sign up for all of the leading creator platforms. Because even if we get you one deal a year and each of the other 5 or 10 get you one deal a year, all of a sudden they're stacking up. There's no one thing that you should be doing. It's all of these things. It's responding to inbound and trying to be creative and upselling them on longer term deals and things if you believe in the brand. Doing outbound to your favorite brands with strategic storytelling and authentic relatability and how you're going to bring their message to life. And then sign up for all the creator platforms you can because they might bring you deals too. So all 3 of those essentially require you to have maybe a website, definitely a LinkedIn, or whatever social channel you are big on. Like, make it clear that you understand what marketers care about. So when you send them your profile on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok, also layer in some performance elements. Here's what you'll see on my profile, but here is brands I've worked with already. Here were the results that they achieved. Marketers make their decisions with data, and usually the person you're talking to has to go sell it to their boss or their boss's boss, and the more data you can give them to show that you are someone they should bet on and will win with, the better.
I want to talk about the entrepreneur mindset because everything I'm hearing from you, it's data, it's marketing, it's sales, it's knowing how to pitch yourself. That's entrepreneurship. I want to help more people in the creator economy, whether they're corporate side doing this, channel that mindset because I think, it's a challenge for a lot of creators to get through it. Sometimes they'll have a bad month financially and they'll let that ruin their entire vibe, leads to burnout, ends up making them want to quit. Maybe they do quit, maybe they get a full-time job after that. I'm really curious how your mindset has helped you over the past, 25 years in business. Yeah. I would love if you could talk to us a little bit more about that.
Okay, this one's really easy. What I tell my team, every onboarding session, every new team member, probably hundreds of people over the years, I tell them the same story when they join. And it starts with what I am most grateful for in my life and in my career is that I knew what I wanted to do when I was 10 years old, which was run my own business. Yeah. Most people have no idea what they want to do until they're 20, 30, 40, 50, maybe even 60. They're still trying to figure it out. And I knew that I didn't like listening to my parents, didn't like listening to my teachers, and I was terrified to have a boss. So I had to figure it out.
Yeah.
And in that figuring it out, the number one skill you can have is grit and perseverance. You will get a million no's, I guarantee it. You will have hard days, weeks, months, years, but it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, and it's just having conviction, believing in yourself, and seeing that finish line, your dream line, your goal that this business, the vehicle, is going to help you achieve. You got to have laser focus. That doesn't mean you don't pivot or change, things about your idea or your business if they're not working properly. But having grit and perseverance is the most important thing. If you get knocked down and don't get back up, you will never be a successful entrepreneur. Every entrepreneur, every millionaire, 100-millionaire, billionaire will tell you about times when they thought they were going to zero.
Yeah.
I could tell 5 stories for a whole 10 podcasts of times #paid almost went to zero. Or I personally lost faith in myself as an entrepreneur, then had a discussion with someone or launched some new product or tried something different that put me on a completely different trajectory, and that's why I'm sitting here today.
Yeah.
So you need to have that grit.
This episode is brought to you by Adobe Acrobat. The creators get tapped for the biggest activations, the 1,000-person speaking gigs, the global brand campaigns, the deals that actually move careers are not the ones with the most aesthetic Instagram grid. They're the ones with the cleanest internal infrastructure. By that, I mean everything that comes down to the briefs they do with brands, how they draft content, how they send analytics, their timeline and deliverables, and brand approvals happening all in one place, ready to send. And with Adobe Acrobat's Combine Files feature, it lets you merge everything you need for a campaign, from slides, screenshots, contracts, performance reports, and more into one clean PDF. So you don't have to go hunting through folders of your extremely messy desktop. I'm definitely calling myself out here anymore. No more. I'll send the rest all in a follow-up email later. You can now access it through one document that makes a brand take you seriously. Try Adobe Acrobat, Combine Files, and run your campaigns like the businesses they actually are. Make sure you try Adobe Acrobat today. How many of you have ever had a dream so big it feels very far out of reach? Yeah, me too. But let me just tell you, with tools like Adobe Acrobat, it is easier to map out a project and a plan bigger than your wildest dreams than ever before. In this episode, you've obviously heard me talk to Adam about what your dream line is so far out in the future that you can work towards. If you always have that in mind, hopefully you should be able to work towards it. But some of us need to actually plan that out. With tools like Adobe Acrobat, you are able to add in any PDFs and context into a PDF space and even combine them into one big PDF that you can then use as your business plan or your life map, right? And from there, something I love doing is actually clicking generate presentation after chatting with the AI assistant, because it can generate a presentation about your dream line. And then from there, you can reference it, edit it, use it later on. And it has been a total game changer for me as a content creator, but also as an entrepreneur. And I really want a lot of you to start thinking more like entrepreneurs rather than just creators. There's so many different features inside of Adobe Acrobat that I know you all will absolutely love. So make sure you go check it out today and let me know what you think.
I think a lot of creators just give up, and having gone to a lot of creator-focused events where we're asked to share about what our biggest struggle is, it's always like, I'm burnt out, I'm overwhelmed, and I just feel like I'm lonely in this. And like you said, if you want to be an entrepreneur and make money in this, that just has to be your side quest of the day, that maybe you have a bad feeling and tomorrow is a new day.
And everyone in the media and online, they often glorify working really hard, many hours, like sleepless nights.
How important is work-life balance as an entrepreneur? And what does that mean to you? I'm just curious to know, like, how do you structure your day, having built your own company, managing or having a bunch of different people on your team? How do you, as like Adam, and then you as Adam, the, chief strategy officer, manage that?
Yeah, so I guess if we're going down memory lane, I mentioned earlier, I was our first salesperson. I was our first sales manager. when I was sales manager, we operated in Canada, then we were expanding to the US. I moved to New York in 2018 to expand our business to the US and start hiring our first US sales teammates, of which I actually saw one of them here last night, our first hire ever. Haven't seen him in 5 years. Amazing guy, now works for TikTok. So I moved to New York. I'm like in my early mid-20s. I'm single. I'm living my dream of running my own business, managing the sales team. And in theory, I was living my dream and should have been the happiest I ever was. But in reality, I was the most depressed I've ever been. Because at that moment, I realized, A, New York is a big city with lots of temptation. And I don't think I was mature enough to actually handle that city. Second, I realized I didn't like managing people. Yeah. As an entrepreneur, as an ideator, I miss talking to our customers or leads who have problems that I can come up with solutions for. I didn't love hearing the same 6 to 8 salespeople complaining as to why the company's not clear in their messaging or why they're not hitting quota or why they're not getting enough meetings booked. And while I want to support them and make all my teammates the best versions of themselves to then perform at their best ability, that wasn't my skill set. I've never had a job. I don't have a resume. I don't know what a good manager is because I've never had one. So I was kind of learning as I went. And then what I think my top skill in life might be is I'm pretty self-aware at what I'm good at and what I'm bad at. And I knew that I didn't enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy it, you're probably not going to be very good at it. And over time, I'm like, this company is my baby. It's the most important thing. Do I have to quit my own company because I don't want to be sales manager anymore? And this was like a month long of holy shit. What do I do with my life? And then, as I tell many entrepreneurs and creators, surround yourself with tailwinds, not headwinds. Tailwinds push you in the right direction, like on a flight. That saves you time on your way home. Versus headwinds, they slow you down. If you have people around you who are negative, who are saying your idea is crazy, who are saying you're dumb for being an entrepreneur or creator, like, fuck them. Get them out of your life because they are only going to slow you down. Because when you have hard times, like I did in that month in New York, I call the tailwinds in my life and they remind me, you're a great entrepreneur. You don't have to quit your own company. Are you crazy? Just come up with a new role that adds value. And that's all that ultimately matters. And so I did just that. I call my co-founder, Bri. I say, I don't want to be head of sales anymore. Let's hire a sales leader. And we raise money. I move back home. I'm happy. I have my tailwinds around me. And then what happened? I get drafted to speak at hundreds of events. And at first, I was terrified. I hated flying. I hated public speaking. And they told me I had to fly every week and speak at 2 or 3 events every week for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Now, 7, 8 years later, I love public speaking. And I still hate flying. But it's really, that's what I do now. I am a walking, talking billboard for #paid. Generally, I speak in front of marketers and educate them about all the benefits of working with creators and how to do it at scale and how to measure it effectively. I don't often speak in front of creators, but in the last week, I've spoken in front of several thousand, and it's actually been such a rewarding experience. A, giving back, hopefully teaching, and then just hearing that creators are making a living off of our site, that we changed their whole perspective of being a creator, that they got their first brand trip from our platform. It's really amazing to hear that the work we do pretty heads down every day is not only paying people tens of millions of dollars, but really just changing their lives. And that's really the purpose of why I wake up every day and do what I do.
Yeah, I really love that. And I feel like the thing that a lot of creators actually miss is that they get big online by creating content in whatever niche it is. But at some point, they get burnt out and overwhelmed because they're doing that so much that they lose sight of their dream line and they lose sight of their mission, and or they never had a mission to begin with because they didn't intend to be a creator. So I think anybody listening that maybe is dealing with a situation where they're burnt out, they feel like they're at their low, listen to this conversation and rewind again and again until it gets through your head. But what advice, aside from the tailwind advice, like a tactical thing that a creator could do at a time when maybe they're like really stressing out, like how would you build a tailwind community? And maybe it's just friends and family, which I totally understand. That's like, go get friends and talk to your family about it. But in this industry, sometimes people in your family and that are closest to you don't support that you're an entrepreneur, or they don't support that you're posting on the internet and sharing and profiting off of your life. So I'm just wondering if there's any technical business side advice that you would give to somebody if they were really struggling.
I mean, generally, friends and family are
Yeah.
the closest, generally easiest support system, I would hope, but not everyone is that fortunate. So you have to create your own communities and tailwinds. The creator community in general, I have noticed. I just got off 1,000 creator cruise
Yeah.
with Virgin Voyages.
Pretty epic. I think I'm going to stop you and we have to just talk about that for a minute. So just give the people the context.
Okay, context. We've worked with Virgin Voyages for a few years now. We've sent 10, 20, 30 creators on these cruises. Last October, they said, hey, can you get 100 creators on a cruise? I think it was like in 30 days. And we did it. And they were blown away. These creators were each contracted to do one post each. They did 7, 8, or 9 each. They were expecting, 100 pieces of content. They ended up with several thousand. It was unbelievable. So much so that our contact there, Elian, said, well, let's push the envelope further. Can you get us 250? How about 500? How about 1,000? And we said, okay, we'll take that challenge. And this year, just a week ago, in partnership with TikTok and Virgin Voyages, we launched the biggest creator brand trip ever in history. 1,000 creators went on the Virgin Voyages cruise, left Miami 3 days, stopped in Bimini, came back, and we were responsible for 600 of those 1,000 creators. It was an incredible experience to meet all these creators, see my team executing in real time, but also we're talking about entrepreneurship. I told you I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur when I was 10. One of my first inspirations was Sir Richard Branson. And he was on the ship, and we got to hang out with him. And that was literally the most surreal moment of my life, because this was one of the craziest, most extravagant, scaled-out programs we've ever done. And then to have your mentor, idol, what have you, on stage and have dinner with him and talk to him. And then my co-founder happened to beat him in chess one morning. It was an unbelievable experience. And obviously, we're grateful for TikTok and for Virgin Voyages. So go check out their team and go check out a Virgin Voyage voyage. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And who knows, maybe you guys will scale this for other brands in 2026 and beyond.
We're already talking about it.
You guys, that is cool. I think something interesting about the creator world is now that we're in this like post-COVID era, brand trips are happening every other week. It's almost the new norm. And it's this hand-selected group of like 10 or 15. I'm really curious about that jump to 1,000 people, right? Like, is it just about the mass volume of content that the brand is getting, right? Or is it that the feed is just flooded? Like there's an influencer in every niche that someone in your life follows that maybe is posting about this content versus the 10 to 15 to even 100 person creator trip where maybe you'd never come across that content. Like at the end of the day, if you can disclose, what is that true goal of that 1,000 person trip?
It was to own the narrative in the moment. It was to generate. Their goal, again, was 1,000 or 2,000 pieces of content. We have analyzed over 17,000 posts from that ship in 3 days.
It's insane.
And there's more coming. People are still posting. It was over a week ago.
I'm still seeing it.
It's nicknamed Boatchella on the internet right now.
And the other thing that I'm seeing is industry people talking about media, talking about creator economy, talking about, oh my gosh, if I were the influencer marketer dealing with tracking all those influencer posts, oh my God, I feel like I would be like in bed for a week, like sick over it, because there's clearly 17,000 pieces of content.
And that's, again, layering in the technology.
Yeah.
This industry, in order for it to keep scaling at the way it is, in order for more brands to execute dozens, hundreds, or thousands of creators, you need technology.
Yeah.
And that's why I love our partners at Virgin Voyages, because they keep making us push the envelope further and further. And we literally had to rejig our entire analytics dashboard, invent completely new products thanks to AI and our new CTO and the great team we have on product and development and engineering to analyze 17,000 posts in real time. We had to track 1,000 people on the ship, of which some of them were not our creators. Right. We had to track every person, every post that came out of it, and then apply the metadata on top of it. Where was it on the ship? Where in the ship? Was it in the casino, in the restaurant? What was the commentary around it? What was the response? And all of those things are then used to give insights to the Virgin team for the next cruise.
Yeah.
What creators should we bring back? What topics should we talk about? Even on this particular cruise, they knew that the majority would be posting about anything and everything, whatever they want. But they thought of their main messaging around dining, entertainment, fitness, and wellness. And they had certain creators in those specific tracks. You're the wellness creator. Obviously, you had to go check out the beautiful gym and all the different workout experiences. If you were the part of the food and dining track, you got to go to these amazing Michelin star restaurants on the ship and try whatever you want and capture that, and so on and so forth. There were individual tracks to make sure that their key moments and selling features were shared with the public, and then it was free for all.
Wow.
Go show off this incredible experience.
My brain goes to, where is the B2B track for the creatorpreneurs? Like, let's talk about working from anywhere. That is so fun. And I didn't even know about that track part. I haven't seen that in any content.
Yeah, so how exactly it will come to life, I am not so sure. I believe it will just be mixed in with, like, you as the audience aren't meant to see who.
Yeah.
We just had to make sure that out of the guaranteed 1,000 plus posts, at least X amount covered that messaging.
That's so cool. So #Paid also does some research and creator reports. I want to know how valuable that data is for the brands that you work with.
It's one of the greatest things we can offer clients or leads because it's proactive and it's authentic. So what do I mean? We are one of maybe 2 companies I can think of in the world in the creator economy that have actually spent over a decade building our own creator network. So I said earlier, we started with our friend Ronnie, then 500 others. Now we have over 200,000, maybe 300,000 creators on one side of our marketplace. Because they, like tens of thousands of them, log in every day to access the job board, to work on campaigns. We've built a lot of trust with them because we've paid them tens of millions of dollars. We've built trust with them. And so they know that we have their goals and best interests at heart. So they're willing to share personal information with us by way of monthly or quarterly surveys. Like I mentioned, are you getting married, getting engaged, having a baby, moving, buying a car?
I just redid mine last week for the Hershey thing.
There are lots of questions that we need to uncover to equip our sales team with proactive data about our creator network. Who's already going to Coachella so that a brand doesn't have to pay you to be there but can pay you more to post once you're already there? This is really insightful data that no one else can have unless you have a creator network, which, as I mentioned, I don't know of any other company but maybe one at the scale and breadth that we have it. So we ask them these questions, and then we put all the data together, and that's, again, how we layer in proactivity, go into these brands before anyone else knows that a creator is looking to buy their exact vehicle or looking to go to stay at their hotel or whatever it might be. It allows you to be proactive, and then again, it's authenticity. And then some of our leading partners can influence those questions. Do you drink stevia or diet beverages? Or what do you think about aspartame? Or do you drink alcohol? How often? What types of alcohol do you drink? I'm just thinking of top customers of ours and the type of questions they want to know. Because again, it all layers back to finding the perfect creator that's the most authentic fit to tell a true story that will resonate with the people who care about them online.
Yeah, that's great information, especially because a lot of creator campaigns just come to your inbox and you're like, okay, I'll do the deal for this amount of money and I'll get it to you in a week. And then it ends there. But what you guys do is use that data, you actually give it to the brands, and then from there, like you said, it's like maybe you'll only get one deal this year, and that's fine. And sometimes that's how it is with the platforms, especially when you're starting out. You have to crowdsource. So I really think any creator listening should just keep that in mind and, always let them know. Another question or another piece of your platform that I love is the area where you get to like pitch your unique idea. There's only 1 or 2 other platforms that, again, are not brokered over email that have a feature like that. I'm really curious about when creators push back on a brief. Again, what happens when you sign up with a creator? Like you said, it's communication, but you sign the creator they're super excited, and then all of a sudden they get slapped with a brief that they're like, this does not align with me, or I just spent 15 hours creating the content, but now the brand doesn't like it. It needs all these adjustments. Like, what should a creator do in those moments to come out on the other side with a win?
Yeah, I mean, we've spent over a decade perfecting this exact process.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to deal with revisions. Nobody wants to read 10-page plus briefs and so on. So what have we done? First and foremost, pitching a brand. We have various clients we work with. They give us briefs about their goals and objectives and messaging. We do not just share the 20, 50, 100-page documents with creators. We rewrite it in what we call creator speak. We have a tool that enables us to do that. And then that brief actually goes out to the creators, to a select group. Our algorithm will automatically shortlist these hundreds of thousands of creators to probably like the top 200 or 300. And only those are then sent the brief that we recrafted in creator speak. Of those, like I mentioned earlier, because we vet every creator before they actually get on our platform, we have thousands that sign up every month. We reject like half of them. And the creators, out of those 300 that might see the brief, like 30, 40% will say, nope, not for me. Even though I have the demographics, even though I am the right price, I create the video content they need, I don't align with that messaging and I don't want to take it. And that's fine. We want our disapproval rate to be 30, 40%. If you take every deal, you're a sellout. You're an influencer, not a creator. So once those, let's call it 100, raise their hand is what we call it, and say, yes, I want to work with this. We then ask them questions. Why do you love the brand? How do you envision bringing the message to life in your content? What's your content going to look like? And those creators pitch a short little paragraph message saying, this is why I'm the best fit. This is how I'm going to bring your message to life. Our team will do a quick sift through of those, and then we share the top ones with the client. The client then still has to approve the creators on the campaign. While I wish I could get every creator and hand select Gigi for every campaign, that's not realistic. It's still ultimately up to the brand. So we have to present the data in the way, your message and pitch in the right way. And then once the brand actually says, okay, we want these 20, 50, 100 creators, we take it one step further to avoid revisions. I believe we are one of the only companies that asks creators to actually submit concepts or storyboards, just like in the Hollywood days, of what your video is going to look like. And then the brand actually approves the concept, so that when you go and shoot, they know exactly what they're going to get. And so you might have a little bit of back and forth via text, over email or our platform, getting that concept approved. But then when you get to go shoot and edit, you do not have to worry about revisions. Our creator approval rate is over 90%, and our content approval rate on the first time it's submitted is over 95%. We hardly do revisions. Less than 5% of the time creators are asked to do a revision because of this process of submitting the concept ahead of time.
I love that. Okay, only have a couple quick more questions for you. I have something called Creator Call-ins where people send me questions. I look on the Reddit threads for questions specifically tailored to someone like yourself. So somebody said, I've been offered a whitelisted deal where the brand wants to run ads from my account for 90 days. They're offering me only $800 and I have 45,000 followers. Is that fair? And how do I actually ask for what I deserve? Obviously, it depends on the brand. I know. Let's call it like a big brand.
Okay, so depending on the brand, they're going to have different budgets, obviously. This is, I don't know exactly what this creator is talking about. There's a few different things here. There's, if it's whitelisted or what we call creator licensing now, are they just asking you for access? Do they also want you to post? Are you creating the content that they are then going to be whitelisting, or are they taking like a banner ad and putting it through your account as a whitelisted ad? That's like the questions I would ask this creator. Again, regardless of those answers, the follower count doesn't actually really matter in whitelisting. That's why these brands whitelist or license the content and put paid dollars behind it. For everyone watching, there's boosting, which is literally like giving a creator money to push a button, and they don't really have control of the ad, and it's not a best practice for brands to do that. The best practice is whitelisting or dark posting, which is creating a separate ad unit in Facebook Ad Manager or TikTok, etc., all the different ad managers, where the brand actually controls who sees it and what action you are paying for them to take. So with 45,000 followers, the whole point is you must have shot great content. It must have done well relative to whatever metric they're looking at. And they say, oh, this creator, we want to put additional dollars behind to reach not her 45,000 followers, millions of people, hundreds of millions of people. Brands can put as many dollars as they want through a whitelisted ad and layer on the targeting that you don't get from an organic post. When someone posts organically on any social network, you have very little control over who sees it. And marketers need to know exactly who sees it. They are delivering very specific messages to very specific people. And while organic content can go viral, can attract new audiences, to drive real media performance, you need to be targeting the right people with the right message at the right time, many times, and with the right calls to action so that they actually visit your site or walk into your store or buy your product. So, depending on the brand, knowing that they are going to put likely tens of thousands at minimum, if not hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars behind your post, you have more negotiating room, because it sounds like they're just buying access. That's
Right.
not for any ad creation or promotion. So really what I would do, and what I recommend to every creator, is think like a marketer, act like a salesperson, and do what we call discovery. Before you agree to anything, ask whoever's asking you to do that deal, why do you want to whitelist my post? How much money do you plan to put behind this post? How many impressions or clicks or acquisitions are you planning to buy with this content? And when you have more information, as I said earlier, you can make smarter decisions and offer more value. In that case, if they're spending hundreds of thousands, some creators say, I want a percentage of the ad spend. Some base it off of the impressions or clicks that brand's going to buy. There's different formulas to do that. If you sign up for #paid, we have a whole pricing algorithm, and we recommend your rates according to fair market value of what hundreds of brands have paid over the last 12 years. But yes, pricing is certainly the Wild West. Marketers often don't know what creators are worth. Creators often don't know what they're worth themselves, or don't understand necessarily the media landscape behind why they boost or amplify or whitelist posts or want usage rights to put it on a billboard or connected TV or in store. Creators are a very exciting component of the media mix right now. They're often the most effective. They're the greatest way to source content that's authentic. But organic posting is not the only distribution channel that these brands use. So understanding the entire media mix, they might still be on television. They might still be running radio ads. Who knows? But until you ask. And then the more information you have, you can give a smarter answer and ultimately make yourself more money.
I feel like a lot of creators are actually super resistant to paid media and paid boosting. They feel like they're getting taken advantage of simply because, like you said, they don't understand the general landscape of, oh, I get to create an asset and then they're spending whatever, tens, 20, 100, $1 million, thousands of millions or whatever behind it. And it's like a really easy way for them to make more money.
And get more followers, which enables you to charge more on the next deal. So again, be reasonable. Don't get taken advantage of. Ask GPT what you should charge based on how many impressions they say they're going to buy with your content. But the greatest thing is every dollar that they put behind your post is going to people outside of your followers. That's the whole point. You've already posted. They hopefully reach some of your followers. But now the brand is saying, we want to take this content and speak to more people exactly like this. Women 18 to 35 in Florida who are interested in health and wellness, etc. You can get very granular and guarantee what we call a 100% on target audience with the paid media. As a creator, you get a benefit of them buying tens of thousands or millions of impressions, people seeing your account that wouldn't otherwise see it. It's like they're buying visibility for you. They're putting you to the top of the algorithm or top of people's feeds with these ads. And most of the time, creators grow in following because of this. A brand is paying to amplify your channel specifically.
And I do have to mention, I think your platform is the only platform I've ever been in that allows you to put your paid usage rate with the amount of days wanted and the recommended rate that you can adjust based on other things like name, image, likeness, if you charge more, if you don't agree with it. And I just love that because there's nothing else like it.
Well, thank you. We were the first company in the creator economy to come out with usage rights for creators for this exact reason. Brands don't know what to charge, creators don't know what to charge, but there is a use case.
Yeah.
When content goes viral on social or performs better than the baseline, marketers want to use it elsewhere. They want to put it on a billboard or on the back of a headrest on an airplane or in Times Square. And these examples I'm giving you are all real. The first... quick story while we're here. How we came up with usage rights. We were working with Infinity, the auto brand. They came to us and said, hey, we should spend $1 million plus to shoot a 30-second commercial. Can you do it for less? And we found creators who are experts in shooting auto content. Some of them worked at creative agencies in the past. They shot with some of the most high-grade, expensive camera equipment and audio equipment. But at the end of the day, the video that we delivered to them cost them about $75,000, maybe $100,000 with usage rights. And it became their number one watched YouTube video ever. So they said, hey, we want to license it. And we had to go back and forth with the creator and try and figure this out. And that was the first of now many where that Infinity video ended up on the back of airplane headrests and on thousands of movie theater screens across the country.
That's
and
incredible.
That was our aha moment where we said, again, brands need content. They can't get enough of it. They can't capture enough themselves or through creators, so they need to license it and use it creatively across their channels. So that's why we then built a system for creators to easily get pricing on what their usage rights should be, and then, again, simplify it for marketers to buy those usage rights and help creators earn more money doing no extra work.
Yeah. If you guys are listening, again, I want you to rewind every single thing. Every single time I ask Adam a question, just rewind, just listen to it again, because he is telling you right now everything you need to know in order to be a successful entrepreneur or creatorpreneur. So if there's anything else you want to add as a fun little cherry pick, any top secret things that we can know about here that you're launching soon or where to expect you next? I know you're going to pop up at Cannes probably.
I will be at Cannes. If you're there, come find me. I'm usually in a hashtag sweater.
It's very iconic.
When the sun goes down, because during the day it's a little too hot. Might have some new hashtag swag actually by then. But no, find our team. We always love talking to creators. And my message to creators of the week is thank you. I wouldn't have a business. I wouldn't have a purpose to wake up every morning without all of you.
Yeah.
You are the reason for this business. And there's no creator economy, no content, no social media without all of you. So thank you.
Adam, this was so fun. I feel like I could talk to you for hours about sales and marketing and selling yourself and everything that goes into being a full-time content creator and entrepreneur. Might I add, extremely successful and very admirable entrepreneur. So I really, really appreciate it. And I can't wait to go to the tuna carving tonight. I'm excited. I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
Yay!
300-pound bluefin tuna cut up by master chefs. It's the centerpiece of our event here at Possible in Miami. This isn't live, but if you're here, come on down.
Come on. Yeah. Anyway, see you later, guys. Bye.